One of our speakers is my good friend for many decades now, Brian Buffini, who joins us now. He has a New York Times best-selling book called Finding Your Immigrant Edge, and he'll be talking about that, and it's one of my favorite stories. Brian is a great American success story from Ireland. There we go, just like that.
That's right.
Welcome,
Straight
my brother.
Straight off the boat, Dave. Glad to be here.
So good to have you. So good to have you. Let's dive straight into it because you and I have talked about this on air and off air on my back porch a couple times. The edge that an immigrant has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's the interesting part is there's huge stats to show that people, no matter what their racial background, cultural background, that people who are not born in America are outperforming Americans almost 2-1.
In America.
In America.
Yeah.
13% of the population is immigrants, 28% of the entrepreneurs.
You're 4 times more likely to be a millionaire in America if you're an immigrant than if you're a good old boy who takes it all for granted.
Yeah, I mean, look, what happened for me, Dave, was I was at a conference and some fella get up and they'd done 3 years on this Harvard research study of millennials. And 51% of the millennials said the American dream was no longer even possible. And I almost choked, and I come to America with $92 in my wallet, get run over by a car, have $250,000 in medical bills, and I'm a millionaire by the time I'm 26. So I'm choking on this. And so I started out, researching not only my own story, but then all of these stories of people who'd come to America. And it was a fantastic experience for me. And just over and over and over again, saw people who came here with nothing, sometimes didn't speak the language, had very few resources, no family in place, and built tremendous businesses. And sometimes big, like 1 out of every 5 Fortune 500 companies was started by an immigrant. I mean, we're talking big companies, small companies. People come with a wide open perspective. They see the land of opportunity. It is the land of opportunity. And, I tell my kids, you're born here, you have the advantages of here. These same principles apply to you. Now go do them,
Exactly. Because the good news is, even if you didn't immigrate from somewhere else, you can decide to use the exact same principles that causes that unusual probability for success.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Dave. Like, where'd your people come from? Where did Ramseys originate from? You didn't start in Tennessee. Where you think of your DNA? Where'd it come from?
It'd be Scotch-Irish, my friend.
Right.
We've had this discussion before.
I know. And so someone came and paid a price. And again, now in your case, I'll ask the EntreLeadership audience to think about who came before, where they came from, and what price did they pay for the opportunity you have, and what would those people have done with your opportunity? Now, I'd have to say the Scots-Irish Ramseys be pretty excited about what Dave Ramsey's done with his opportunity. But I don't think most people have fully optimized the opportunities that are here. They're complaining. They don't see the opportunity. Fish discovers water last. And we're in a land of opportunity. Fortunes are going to be made in the next 5, 10, 15 years. And if people listening to you today want to do it, they can. Absolutely.
So you outline 7 principles that that gives an immigrant an edge. And again, anyone out there, immigrant or otherwise, can choose to embrace these principles.
Well, if somebody left New York and moved to Tennessee, they're an immigrant now. You're right. So, fair enough, right?
The way we say it is, you ain't from around here, are you, boy? Yeah.
So, look, the first one is an openness to learn. Now, you and I, when we first met, we're talking about Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and all the influences. We're both personal growth junkies. And, so number one characteristic I've seen with immigrants is they have an openness to learn. Number 2 is that do whatever it takes attitude. Just going to do whatever it takes. Number 3, a willingness to outwork others. Now, that used to be a lot.
Ding.
That used to be a lot harder. I don't think that's that hard anymore.
Yeah, it's a low bar now.
Show up on time, do what you said you were going to do, and you're a hero.
Yeah, you're dadgum genius.
Number 4, I think, is what I believe is the missing element in American business today, which is the heartfelt spirit of gratitude. Immigrants are grateful. Like, I grew up in a great country. I'm very thankful for it. But I come to America, and it's like Ireland in the 1980s was a third world country. I came to America, and I kissed the ground, and so that would be that. And the next one is a boldness to invest. They're not afraid. They're willing to invest. They'll reinvest in their company. They'll invest in themselves. They'll get help. They'll put their money back into their business. They bet on themselves. The next one is one you would like, of course, which is a commitment to delay gratification, right? I'm not sponsored by Ramsey Solution. I just want you to know that delay gratification is one of the key ingredients for immigrant success and what you've been preaching for 30 years. And then lastly is an appreciation of where you come from, that you know where you came from. And again, if you started with a small business, you have an appreciation where you come from. I go visit you the first time, I see your old car in front of the old building, right? And, every day people would walk in there and say, there's Dave, was selling the books out the back of the car. You had an appreciation for where you came from, your staff. They knew your story. There was an appreciation for where you came from. And now you have all these beautiful buildings and a great campus, but there's still that appreciation for where you come from. And so here's the thing. Dave Ramsey is Tennessee through and through, but you have all of these 7, right? You exemplify this, and I think your company does. So you don't have to be born outside the country. The American dream should be first and foremost for Americans to take hold of, and it shouldn't be the people coming from the outside are competing and beating you in the marketplace.
So, Rachel, my daughter, and I did a book a few years ago on teaching parents how to teach their kids how to handle money, smart kids, and we ended up doing an entire chapter and a half on this idea of gratitude. There is something that is unleashed in the human spirit that allows space, allows margin to create success only when you learn gratitude. Gratitude is, again, it's a choice, and it's so missing in the culture that if you bother to have gratitude, it's the opposite of entitlement.
Right.
It's the opposite of taking it for granted. It's I'm better than I deserve. I say it every day. Because I don't deserve. Man, I've worked my butt off. I'm really smart, but this is still way better than I deserve. Right. And that's gratitude. That's a statement of grace about God's grace for me. But it's gratitude to Him and Jesus. But it's gratitude to our customers. It's gratitude to our military for creating a country that's safe, because they go around the world and risk their lives so I can be here and have the freedom to win. It's gratitude for everything around me. There's so much to be grateful for, and yet, I find very few people who are whiners that are not grateful that become highly successful.
Yeah. There's very few whiners who are winners, right?
Yeah.
And we know our old friend Zig Ziglar used to say, great and attitude make gratitude, right? And I'm not talking about the yoga pants type, enter the space and roll up into the, the fetal position.
Won't fit either one of us.
Right. How about this? The 2 most powerful words in business, thank you.
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard it, Dave?
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard it? My wife and I did a multi-million-dollar remodel. We bought this barn. My daughter's on the U.S. equestrian team. And we put millions back into this horse property, yada, yada. My wife's statement, she's a very gentle soul, sweetheart, Tennessee legend. She's a Lady Vol.
Yeah.
And she said, Brian, I've decided I'm going to do business with the people who are least frustrated by me. And I was like, huh? And she goes, yeah, I'm going to go with the people who are least annoyed. And, hey, I'm sorry, we want to buy $12,000 worth of appliances today. I want to buy $100,000 worth of cabinetry. I want to buy this. And just all day long for 2 years, she felt like she was annoying people.
Trying to give them her money.
Yeah, right? But
that's classic.
It is. And here's the point. This is why an immigrant can come to America and dominate the competition. Because they communicate to their customers, thank you for your business. We really appreciate you. We never want to take your business for granted. Why? Because they're coming to a place where they actually can do business. I spoke we've been in 50 countries training our systems. I was in one country, Dave, I'm not going to mention it because I wasn't supposed to be there, where they had 3,000 people in an auditorium, locked down, and it couldn't say what it was because it was illegal in that country to be an entrepreneur. Those people come here to America and they blow up. And so you talk about this gratitude. Seriously, who thanks you for your business? Customer service, meet people, from a salesman to a customer service throughout the organization. And I'll give you this. So this will give you a great, it was 1989, and David Dimbleby, the British interviewer, was interviewing George Bush Sr. And here's a great resume, right? Texas oil millionaire, head of the CIA, vice president for 8 years, president, 2 sons governors, 1 president, right? Pretty good resume. And Dimbleby says to him, what's the one thing you've done in your life to become successful? And George Bush had a response like on the tip of his tongue. And he said, well, my whole life, I've written 10 personal notes of thanks to people I came in contact with the previous day, had a good experience with. I just wrote him a thank you note. And at the time, in 1989, I was living in a little White House. He was living in a big White House. And, right, I'm going to listen to the fella in the big house. So I set out to write 10 personal notes every single day to people I came in contact with, to people I did business with. Someone was looking at a house, I thank them for the privilege of showing them, on and on and on. And built a fortune. And today, like my company today, we have thousands of people we train. My company today produces over 10 million thank you notes a year for our customers to give to their customers. So I'd like to say I've made gratitude into a very successful business.
Well, the interesting thing is it's so rare.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't require much thought. It just requires you have to set your spirit on that dial position and not turn it off. Just stay there. Just constantly be a little bit amazed, a little bit aghast, a little bit thrilled that you're still able to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I do it for my customers. I do it to my staff. And then my staff do it to my customers. We just won 6 years in a row. We've just won the best place to work in San Diego, right? We have 250 staff. It's a much smaller operation than what you have. And, but we keep winning this best place to work. And I believe because gratitude is what our customers feel from us. Gratitude is what our staff feels from us. And then gratitude is then what our staff give our customers. And so you put that all together. The next thing you know, people like working there. People like being your customer. The retention rates are high and the profit margins are good. So guess what? Being grateful and thankful gives you even more to be grateful and thankful about.
Yeah, it's called prosperity. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Brian Buffini, The Immigrant Edge, How to Make It Big in America, a New York Times best-selling book. Had the pleasure of having him on the show when that book came out, and we'll have the pleasure of him speaking for us all at the EntreLeadership Summit. If you've gotten a ticket, you'll be in the room. Be grateful for that because there's not any more. And now you can also be grateful for the fact that there's a live stream that you can sign up for at EntreLeadership.com/summit. You'll hear Brian and Malcolm Gladwell and Dave Ramsey and Dr. John Deloney and Jordan Peterson and Willie Robertson and many, many others. It's quite a lineup. We're really, really excited and very excited that the one speaking engagement you took this year was us. So we're honored to have you, my friend. I'm glad things are going well for you. I look forward to seeing you in person again soon.
Can't wait. I'm really looking forward to the EntreLeadership, and I'm bringing my team as well. So we're excited to be there, and it'll be a great time.
Going to be wonderful. Brian Buffini, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Brian. Good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, Dave. See you soon.